Sandy says read. Welcome to the channel. Tonight we are going to do something a little different. As you know, on this channel, once in a blue moon, we read something. In the marketing circles, I've been told that it's wise to read from my own work once in a while. So in honor of Appreciate a Dragon Day, we're going to do a little reading, a little snippet from one of my novels about a dragon. And this is one of the popular scenes that I've read before at like author readings and stuff out there in the world. This is the dragon on the balcony scene, which is cute. So we're going to read a cute scene about a dragon. Just indulge me, you guys. It's not very long. It's about 1,200 words. It's from chapter 16 of the Choices Meant for Gods novel in the Choices trilogy, due soon from 7 Star Press. There's a re-release of the series. I'm sure you guys have heard me talk about that or seen it in the newsletter or whatnot. Okay, so it's about 1,200 words. It's from the middle of chapter 16. I'm going to dive into that and read that, and I'll put a timestamp on here for when that's done. So if you don't want to sit through listening to me read, you don't have to. We'll talk about a couple of dragon things after the scene reading. Okay, if it looks like I'm staring at the screen, I am. I'm going to bring up, let's see if I can do this without ruining what we're trying to do here. Oh, I don't know if I can even do this. Let me see. You guys, you get to watch me struggle with technical stuff here while I try to film. I'm going to bring up the scene that I'm reading for you on the screen because the new novel, the new book, isn't out yet. It hasn't been released yet from 7 Star Press. So I'm going to be reading what's on my screen, the most current edit of the scene. There's still one more edit to go from the publisher, but this is the edit that's been through beta readers and other edits, and here we go. Okay, so this is from the middle of chapter 16. This is Amanda Charisse, our main character, on her balcony. Now she sensed someone approach. All her muscles tensed as she watched through the strip of space between the curtain and doorframe. And when a small dragon landed with a click, click of its claws on the stone balcony rail, she put her hand to her mouth to keep from gasping aloud. It's a baby dragon. The thing couldn't have been 4 feet tall, sitting there fussing with its oversized wings. It seemed to have difficulty getting the webbing to fold nicely against its sides. In fact, it seemed to have so much difficulty that it lost its balance and nearly fell backward. She could imagine it cursing if it had a voice by its agitated hop and bounce to the balcony floor, which proved more stable. She watched all of this with fascination, not afraid, but surprised. Dragons are extinct. How is this real? The last sighting was, by the gods, 500 winters ago? Its feet reminded her of any reptile, only this creature's small claws would someday be brutal scythes. The dark scales on the feet blended into rich blue and purple hues with black overtones as she followed their pattern up the muscled legs to the creature's belly. This was obviously the part of the body slayers had targeted for centuries. Her own fingernails could pierce this supple-looking skin. It would toughen with age and darken to match the rest of its body. For now, the tan underbelly would certainly stand out against a night sky, even if the glistening young scales didn't. As the creature continued to fuss with its wings, Charisse watched it tuck its elongated face around to scratch its back. It was hard to believe the scales would have any nerve endings to feel an itch, much less the scratching meant to relieve the annoyance. It leaned on its right front leg for support as it rubbed its chin against the left wing, and when all the motion, combined with not properly folded wings, knocked it off balance, she giggled. The creature would definitely curse if it had a voice. It was scrambling to regain its footing and lift off from the balcony. Unfortunately, it would have to coordinate itself to hop to the railing before its wingspan would allow it to take flight. Charisse took advantage of its frantic attempts to escape to capture it from behind. Person will have my head for this, she muttered, but stepped onto the stone balcony and scooped up the mass of flailing reptile. It flailed all the more, its weak tail rapping and slapping the backs of her legs, and emitted a strangled barking sound. Hey, be quiet, she admonished, rearranging her arms to fold its forelegs down against its body. You're going to tear a wing if you don't settle down, and stop making that noise. The creature remained tense, but stopped flailing its legs once she had its wings pinned. It panted for breath. All right, that's better. Now I want to know if you can understand me. She waited for some sort of response, not sure what to expect from a dragon trying to communicate with a human. Can you speak? The creature didn't move. What am I going to do with you now? I doubt the head of this house would let you live if he knew I'd caught a dragon here. But I think the lady of the house would help you. Are you here to do something bad, or are you a good dragon? No response. Here's one for you. Do you want me to set you down? The creature gurgled what sounded an awful lot like the word yes. Is that a yes? If I let go of you, are you going to fly away or bite me? She bent at the waist, slowly setting the creature back on its feet, and then slowly released the grip she had on it, running her hands along the bone structure of its wings. Because she really was in awe of having a dragon so near at hand, she moved back a step to let it understand she wasn't going to hurt it. It rolled its dark brown eye and tilted its long face to look up at her over its shoulder, as if sizing up the new situation. She smiled. You're a cutie. What are you doing on my balcony? The creature hopped once to move away and a couple of times to turn around. Its back was almost against the marble railing, and it watched her with frightened eyes. I promise not to hurt you, she said, and lowered to her knees. She could look at it in the eye now, and thought this position might make it relax. Are you hungry? I have fruit in my room. It merely stared at her. I wish I could get some answers out of you. I really want to know where you've come from. You see, I've been taught that there are no dragons left in the world. It stared harder, leaning forward a bit. Its eyes were trained on her lips, watching as if reading them. This was puzzling, but her pulse remained quickened by excitement, not fear. She didn't worry that the creature would bite her. She imagined it was learning about her as much as she was learning about it. Her insides shivered at the idea, as if her muscles and tissues were ready to prevent attack, but her brain and heart were ready to make a friend. Are you the one who always comes to visit me? It gurgled the sound of yes. That's your way of saying yes, isn't it? It gurgled again. All right. Yes or no questions from here on out. Are you a young dragon? Yes. Good. I was hoping you'd still have some growing to do. Your belly is too tender. The creature bent its head to look at its abdomen, and she marveled that it understood her. She hadn't heard of any dragon sightings in Unveiled, and the reports would have been loud and exaggerated if there had been a slaying. That meant this fledgling's parent was hiding very well. It appeared to have trouble standing up, so there was no way it had flown to Arcana from any great distance. Okay, how about another question? Do you need food? It gurgled, and she could swear pointed to its stomach area with one of its front claws. Will you stay here if I go get you something to eat? Yes. Well, I don't know if I believe you or not, but I don't want you to be hungry. I'll go get something, and if you fly away while I'm gone, I'll just leave it here on the balcony for you, all right? She could swear it nodded its head, its snout bobbing up and down. To keep it from getting frantic again, she rose to her feet slowly, trying not to make any sudden moves, and backed into the room. Once through her chamber door, she broke into a run for the kitchen. This was exciting. No one had seen dragons in a couple of 100 winters, yet she had a baby one on her balcony, responding to questions she asked it. If anyone had told her even a turn of the moons ago that she would be sprinting through the Timon house in her nightgown to fetch leftover roast beef for a baby dragon, she would have laughed at them. But not now. She pulled the meat from the ice room and sprinted back upstairs. Luckily, all of the servants had gone to bed, but someone did see her pitter-pattering up the staircase. End scene. Let me come back over here. Okay, there we go, guys. Okay, so that's the Dragon on the Balcony scene from Choices Meant for Gods, which is due out really soon. I'll be shouting from the rooftops when it's available again. It's out of print right now because the original publisher closed their doors. But I wanted to mention there are multiple dragons in my Choices series. Just met one right there. That's the little baby dragon. But there are evil dragons, and then there are worthy dragons. There are shape-shifting dragons. So there's all kinds of dragon stuff we can talk about once the books come out. Or if you've read the original trilogy, we could talk about them in the comment field below. Is that all? Juliet, evil. Malachi, not evil, but lots of secrets. Adele and Cinder, those two are like actual factual dragons. They don't morph or shapeshift. Adele and Cinder, they are true dragons. Whisklau is a dragon he's not in the trilogy. he's part of the canon. He's part of the Choices world, the Unveiled world, but he was in, I had a short story published in the genre anthology for Tulip Tree Review called Della Finds Her Gift, and Wisclau is the dragon in there. Wisclau is an Old English word meaning wise, wise. Yeah, I doubled up on that. That might be it, you guys. Okay, so let's talk about dragons for Appreciate a Dragon Day. Let's talk about the dragons. Dragon scenes that you enjoyed in fiction that you've read, fiction you've watched on TV. There's all kinds of dragons we can talk about. So many. So talk about it below. Share, share, share. And have a great Appreciate a Dragon Day. Treat it like a holiday, you guys. It didn't work. All right, so here we go. Okay, now we're ending the video. You guys, I swear, I've got to get back into editing these things so I can take the flubs out.